What is up, everybody? Bootman here, and we're back with another Marvel Snap video. And in this video, I wanted to go over 10 tips to help you reach Infinite by the end of the season. As you can see, we just recently hit Infinite, so I want to go over some things, and this isn't just about this particular season, but overall, because we're gonna be talking about like managing your tilt, testing out different decks, snap strategy, and all that kind of stuff, all right? But before we get started, if you're new here, hi, my name is Chris. I also go by Bootman, and if you love Marvel Snap as much as I do, especially the competitive aspect, like ranking up the ladder, going over different like deck and card strategies, all that stuff, make sure you subscribe, ring that notification bell, because not only will I provide you with some amazing content, but we also have an awesome Discord server linked down in the description below. Come join, come hang out. We have a ton of cool people in there, and make sure you follow me on Twitter at BootmanMSTZ, also linked down below. Every single season I give away 3 season passes for free, but you gotta be following me on Twitter. Next month, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy season. Nebula's gonna be the season pass, so you don't wanna miss out on that giveaway. All right, cool. Let's get started. So for those of you who are new here, you haven't been around, I know all about the stress of trying to hit Infinite, and we'll talk quite a bit about that, all right? So last season, like, I think we have to go back to the season before that. Season before that, like, I got super stressed, and a lot of it comes from being a content creator, because as content creators, there's a certain amount of like professional, like, criticism that comes along if you are not Infinite, right? Like, how am I gonna make a video? Like, why should anybody listen to this guy if he can't hit Infinite, right? So I put a lot of stress on myself. So the next season, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take the season off. I'm not even gonna try to hit Infinite. And then I ended up hitting Infinite by the end of the season, all right? This season, I decided to do the same thing. And I hit Infinite within less than a week of just like goofing off and like not taking it too seriously. So anyways, that's how I reached it this season. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. So I want to give you some tips because, again, those of you who don't know me, I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. I've been sober for 10 years. So mental health is like a huge priority in my life. So I do want to talk about some of those things because I get a lot of questions about that, you know, on Twitter, in the comments, everything, all right? So tip number 1, all right? The first thing is, don't compare your journey to someone else's, okay? Say that again with me. Don't compare your journey to someone else's. This is something I actually learned a long time ago, just in my recovery and in my life and everything. A lot of times we're comparing ourselves to others, but we totally forget all of the different circumstances that come into play. Like when you see other people hitting Infinite in a day, in a week, right? Then we start setting up our own expectations for that. You have no idea what their situation's like, right? They might have more time than you, right? They might have access to more cards than you. They might be playing more bots than you. You know what I mean? They might just be having better luck than you are. You know what I'm saying? So try not to compare yourself to others. Like everybody is on their own path to Infinite, and it takes some of us longer than others for reasons completely outside of your control. Which leads me to tip number 2. Remember, know that your rank does not reflect your skill, okay? Because that's part of this comparison game that we're playing, right? You see other people hitting Infinite fast or whatever it is, and you think that, oh my God, I just might be bad. I must be bad at this game because I can't hit it as fast as these other people. But again, there's so much outside of your control. And something that I talk about regularly that gets me a lot of crap, gets me a lot of pushback, that other people hate me talking about, but it's very real, is the randomness of the game. Oh my God, I said it. Oh, I said it, okay? Like, here's the thing. Outside of my Marvel Snap content, I do a bunch of other content. I read hundreds of nonfiction books a year, and this is something that just a lot of people refuse to admit, and it makes sense too because it kind of hits the ego. But like, there is randomness, okay? For every game that we play, there is so much RNG, all right? Like, just statistically, there are gonna be people who are very lucky, and then there are gonna be people who are very unlucky. Let's just talk about like some statistics real quick, okay? So I'm also into like personal finance, investing, and all that kind of stuff. And one of the best examples that I can give you is this. because there's a lot of people out there who like go with like a stockbroker or pick their stocks after someone else who had like a great year, all right? It's complete randomness and BS. Nobody knows the stock market. But anyways, when some of these books talk about like a stockbroker who like had like 10 years in a row where they like beat the market picking stocks, right? Well, imagine this. Imagine you're in a room of 100 people and we all had a quarter, all right? And we all flip it, okay? Statistically, about half of those people are going to get heads, all right? Now, let's say everybody who got tails, they leave, right? Now we all flip the coin again. Now, half of those people are gonna get heads, all right? Everybody leaves who got tails. Flip it again, half of those people, boom, flip it again, half of those people. Eventually, you're gonna get down to one person who got heads every single time. Now, is that person just an amazing coin flipper? No, just based on large numbers and playing like that, someone is going to be a lot luckier than everybody else. Now, in the game of Marvel Snap, we have thousands or even millions of people playing, right? There are going to be people who are luckier than others. There are gonna be people who are getting tails, right? More than others. So randomness does play a factor in this along with skill, okay? So just keep that in mind. Your rank does not reflect your skill. There is some randomness in this game. All right, tip number 3, don't be afraid to experiment, okay? This is something that I learned. Like I was so afraid to try out new decks and I was like, well, if I try a new deck, then I gotta learn it. I'm gonna lose a lot of cubes. But the season before last season, I actually kept this little clicker, this little tracker to see how many games I played. And it took me like over 2,000 games to hit infinite, right? So that got me thinking for the next season, this last season, I was like, well, if it's taking me that many games and like actually like trying, right? Then why don't I just play some other decks, lose some cubes, learn them, see how they work, because clearly it's not gonna matter too much, right? Like out of like thousands of games that I play in an entire season, even if I took like 500 of those were losses, right? A lot of those were losses. My stats are usually around like a little over 50%, you know, by the end of the season. So we could take huge chunks of those and just, those cubes were gonna be gone anyways, even if you were playing a deck that you liked. So don't be afraid to try and experiment with different decks. Some of you saw the video I made the other day, with like 18 decks that already hit infinite. I have another list. I'm gonna try to do it weekly, but don't be afraid to experiment with decks. But that leads me to my next tip, tip number 4, all right? Play a deck long enough to get the hang of it, all right? Like, don't just play a deck for like 2 or 3 games and then be like, oh, this deck is just terrible, right? Like, it takes dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of games to get used to a deck, especially more complex decks, like a Thanos deck, even bounce decks. Like, I might need to make a video on like bounce deck guide, like the way I did one on Thanos. Bounce decks are another one of those decks that are very complex and like people are just like, oh, this is the best deck ever. No, some of these decks have like a really high learning curve and you have to play a ton of games, all right? But anyways, the other day, I tested out a bunch of those infinite decks and like, I played them for like hours, right? Hours. And I just lost my butt off, okay? And the thing is, due to how much I play and how long I've been playing, I can tell when a deck's good and I'm just having a series of bad luck, right? Like, I watch streamers like a lot while I'm at work, like, because I work from home, and I'll just have streamers up, and I'll see them play for hours and hours and hours and like only gain like a rank, okay? Sometimes we just have these terrible days, but I can tell when a deck's good, but it's just not working back to me, and then sometimes I'll circle back and come back to that deck, all right? But anyways, play decks long enough to get the hang of them. All right, tip number 5, take breaks. Take breaks, what are you doing? Take breaks, all right? I've had a few people request me make a video based on my background in recovery. I've also worked at like a drug and alcohol rehab center and all that kind of stuff, but they want me to talk about like the addictive aspect of like Marvel Snap. But like, I might do it. I'll tell you guys what I told someone else yesterday. I read so many books and I've read like just dozens and dozens of books about how technology is designed to be addictive. And like, there's like a million documentaries about it. I'm like, does anybody not know that technology is addictive? But anyway, leave a comment if you want me to like break it down on why these things are addictive, how they get you hooked in. But anyways, tip number 5, take breaks. Take breaks. This is one of the best ways to manage tilt. You should have other games like in your repertoire, all right, to experiment and play around with, like just for fun. You know what I mean? When I was getting super tilted, I actually hooked up my PlayStation in my office so I could replay the Miles Morales game. Love Spider-Man, love me some Spider-Man. But I also play different video games with my son. By the way, my son's a Marvel Snap player. He gets hooked on this too. He's been taking more breaks. With the new Zelda coming out, he's playing the last Zelda Breath of the Wild, trying to 100% it. So he's getting a nice little break, right? But getting some distance from the game. Because one of the things is when we're hooked, and again, I live in Las Vegas, and I've seen a lot of gambling addicts. So think of like cubes, like your money. When people lose, then they start playing even more to try to regain their losses. Don't fall into that trap. Take a break, manage your tilt. I've been playing in this new like roguelike game. It's called Have a Nice Death. It's on the Switch and it's on Steam. Super fun game. Anyways, find other games, find another hobby, take a break, do something, whatever. All right. Tip number 6, don't take it too seriously. I don't know why, it's hard to explain, but ever since I stopped hitting Infinite too seriously, like, I'm hitting Infinite a lot faster. Now, by the way, again, since the recent update, you're getting an extra 5 cubes every time you hit one of the increments of 10, so that will make it faster, but still, like, I'm experimenting with decks and everything like that, and yeah, like this season, I just happened to find a few decks that are really powerful that I actually like playing too. Does that make sense? But anyways, don't take it too seriously, all right? Play around, mess around. If one of the ways you could take a break, by the way, like let's say you know you need to take a break, but you want to keep playing Marvel Snap, you don't have any other games, or blah, blah, something else, right? Like find like a fun deck, right? Fun decks off the top of my head. Any deck that involves like Wong and Odin is gonna be a fun deck. Like play the deck where you try to get like Wasp or Yellow Jacket up to like a bajillion power or whatever. Like goof around, mess around, do some silly stuff, okay? Set up like Wong with like Gambit and just do something really annoying, right? But don't take it too seriously. It has helped me out a ton these last couple seasons, all right? Tip number 7, practice snapping early, okay? Those of you who've been following me for a while now, you know how much I hate a first turn snapper. I cannot stand first turn snappers, all right? But something I started doing last season, since I took the season off from trying too hard, I wanted to start snapping more aggressively. So I also have a poker background, being from Vegas. I also just like started playing a lot of poker when I got sober, and I used to do it to kind of like support myself because I was so broke, but that's a story for another day. But anyways, I've been working on trying to find like how, like I've won poker tournaments and stuff like that, right? And part of poker is this. When you have good cards, right, you bet. And the reason why you bet is like before the flop, before the first 3 cards come out, is to push other people out. You wanna push people out because you don't want someone sitting in a hand with garbage cards and then them get really lucky, right? So you're putting money in the pot and you're saying, listen, if you wanna sit in this turn with your garbage hand, you're gonna have to pay, all right? So that's the strategy in poker. Now, there are differences that I've noticed with Marvel Snap because it's not real money, it's cubes, right? It's cubes that you can gain back, and someone that you're playing against might be all loosey-goosey, willy-nilly with their cubes, especially if they're infinite, so it is different. So anyways, what I'm getting at is, I still don't agree with first turn snapping. I just don't. I don't agree with it at all. Also, you're gonna snap, you are going to get really good at snapping when you have strong hands, strong locations, and you're going to lose. You are going to lose so many times and it's gonna drive you nuts, all right? I cannot tell you how many times I have snapped early just because I had everything I needed, just the bets, and just something random happens, just something random. So my suggestion is practice snapping on like turn 2 or turn 3, all right? That way the person has to stay in, and then if RNG happens and you lose, whatever. But I think I did rank faster this season because I've been practicing it so much. And snap strategies, there are not many videos about it, which is mind-blowing to me. I think they don't get as many views, but let me know down in the comments if you want me to make a video like dedicated to snap strategies and kind of bring up some more poker analogies and stuff like that. All right, tip number 8, believe people when they snap you, okay? When someone snaps you or snaps you back, believe them. Believe them. Don't like, if they snap you back and a Shang-Chi can destroy you, believe that they have Shang-Chi, okay? If they're playing like a Shuri deck or a Galactus deck, right? Like these very telegraphed decks, believe them and get your butt out there, okay? Now, the one caveat I will say is this. If they snap you, believe them, but stay in if you have something extremely surprising, right? Especially against these telegraph decks, right? Because the Shuri deck, they're gonna snap you whatever when they have their setup for Shuri, Red Skull, and Taskmaster, right? But are you sitting on like a Valkyrie, right? Do you have a turn 5 Sarah and then a turn 6 Enchantress and Shang-Chi to get rid of their armor and blow up that Red Skull, right? Do you have something that will surprise them that is different than what they're expecting? Stay on in, get them 8 cubes, baby. But if not, hightail it out there. Another one is like Galactus, right? Believe them if they have Galactus, if they're playing like the Galactus setup, right? They put down Yondu, right? Then they put down Wolverine, then they put down Electro, okay? Then they get down Doc Ock. They're playing Galactus, okay? That's what they're doing. So unless you have something that's gonna move their cards or you have like a debris to clog up their lanes, believe them, get out there. Don't sit and be like, well, if I get my card on turn 6, you know? That's something else. Like, we're gonna give you 11 tips. We're gonna give you 11 tips, all right? Because I'm gonna make this tip number 9. Get out of there early, leave early, retreat early. I think this season, I also ranked faster because I saved a lot of time. I saved so much time. For example, if I'm playing against a Shuri deck, I know that's the deck they're playing, right? Like when they drop Shuri on turn 4, I leave. If I don't have anything in my deck or in my hand, I leave. I don't wait. I don't sit around for turn 6. Like, oh, maybe something phenomenal will happen. No, I just get out. I just leave. Here's your 1 cube, boom, I'm on to the next one. Here's your 1 cube, boom, I'm on to the next one, right? Especially with Sinister London being the recent location. If somebody dropped Shuri on Sinister London and I had nothing to block it, I would just leave. I'm not gonna sit there and even waste one more turn, right? Especially, I don't know, it drives me nuts. I cannot tell you how much it drives me crazy when people play these like telegraph decks like Shuri or Galactus and take forever to play their turns, right? Like there's a very finite amount of moves that you can do for your deck to work. Like just play them and let's get this over with. So anyways, I got fed up and I just started leaving early. I think that helped me rank up faster. All right, so you got a bonus tip. Boom, leave early. Don't sit around until turn 6. All right, so tip number 10. If you really wanna rank, give the game all of your attention, okay? So something I know holds me back, and I don't really talk about this publicly, I don't really care, it's just not something I mention. So much of me playing Marvel Snap is on my cell phone while I'm doing other things, right? So my beautiful girlfriend and I, my son, when he's here, we watch movies, we binge watch series, and I'll play Marvel Snap, right? She plays like her little like Candy Crush style like puzzle games. My son will play too. I recognize that the game does not get my full attention. I'm making mistakes left and right. That's holding me back, you know, whatever. But something I started doing last season was, because even when I play at my PC, I will have like a YouTube video up, a stream up, I'll be listening to audiobooks, whatever. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to just dedicate all of my attention. So I would just turn on some music, watch, sit back, take my time. I wouldn't hit intern until I really like assessed it. And it helped a ton, all right? So just know that you might be crippling yourself if you're multitasking. And if that is, just be self-aware. Just be like, okay, I'm not ranking up because I'm doing multiple things. And if I really wanna get serious about this, boom, I'll just dedicate some time. You know what I'm saying? So last tip, and this is a big mental health tip. Ask yourself why you wanna hit infinite, all right? All right, let's all do some self-reflection real quick. Let's get self-aware real quick. Ask yourself, pause this video. Say, why do you want to hit infinite? So I am like a huge psychology and sociology nerd, and something I love reading about and learning about is status, right? We're always comparing ourselves to others. We all always wanna be higher status. That's just the way humans and many other species are just designed, right? So ask yourself like, am I only trying to hit infinite for status? Do I only wanna hit infinite to impress other people? Like if you do, cool, just be self-aware about that. Just know it, like self-awareness will just get you so far. Now, if that's not the reason, maybe you just wanna prove it to yourself, right? I'm a very competitive person by nature, and that's part of the reason why I shoot for it, okay? So just know, be like, is it for yourself? Is it to prove something to yourself? Do you wanna prove that you're good at the game, right? And if these are the cases, right, whether it's the status or that, just know that infinite rank doesn't have to be that thing. You can go enter tournaments, right? You can go enter tournaments, you can do all sorts of stuff. Just know that there are other ways to do this. Lastly, like me, this season, I'll be honest with you, a main motivator was this. My girl Goose right here. I wanted this card back so bad. I saw it, I'm like, that's gangster. I'm like, that's gangster, I want that, all right? But just recognize why you wanna hit infinite. If it is for status, if it is to impress other people, like there's some like deeper work that needs to be done, right? Like why am I getting so tilted based on the fact that I'm shooting for something just to impress complete strangers on the internet, right? Because if that's like something that I'm really focusing on, it's getting a lot of my attention, there's something else going on inside of me, whether it's like a lack of like self-confidence, if I have insecurities, if I have feelings of not being good enough, and something I don't promote at all, but it's always down in the description, some of you have seen it, is BetterHelp Online Therapy. I'm an affiliate with them. I use BetterHelp Online Therapy. Like I go to therapy because things happen, like, if it was up to me, everybody on earth would like go to therapy, right? But there's some things that I just don't recognize, that I just can't get to, and I need an outside opinion, not somebody I personally know, you know what I mean? I'm not telling you to go get therapy, but if you do, there's an affiliate link down below, so it helps support the channel. But anyways, there are a lot of things inside of us, but like, if like Marvel Snap is like consuming a lot of your life, if it's like messing up your day, and these other tips aren't helping, like take breaks and don't take it too seriously, like, just saying, just putting it out there. Therapy might help, you know? Like, I'm not saying like go to therapy just for Marvel Snap, just based on my experience, 10 years of like working on my mental health, working in the mental health field for a little bit, like something else is going on, all right? But anyways, that's all I got for this video. Glad I was able to keep it around 20-ish minutes, but that's all I got. Again, leave a comment down below if you want me to go over like snapping strategies, anything else like that. Those videos usually don't perform as well, but I don't care. I'm here to hook you up. I wanna provide you with value, all right? But that's all I got for this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, ring that notification bell, and don't forget to join our awesome Discord server down in the description below. And make sure you follow me on Twitter at BootmanMSTZ, because I do monthly giveaways for the season pass. I give 3 away for free every single month, all right? So that's all I got for this video. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.